Hey everyone, welcome back to the Home Service Greatness Podcast. You got John and John today in flannel shirts, bringing episode number 6, which is all about marketing tips to grow your Christmas light installation business.
What is up, Johnny boy?
How you doing?
Good, man. I can tell you, I love this topic because we've been marketing for Christmas light companies for like the last 4 or 5 years. And I can tell you, it's like one of my favorite verticals to serve. It's exciting. Clients love our services. Customers love what our clients are delivering. And ultimately, man, it's Christmas. What's not to love?
Bringing holiday cheer. It's amazing.
Better believe it. Well, I want to get right into it today because I know that our listeners are, maybe they're in their first year of Christmas, maybe in their second or third, but we've got a lot of tips from behind the scenes. We look at the data. We talk to a lot of clients. We're friends with a lot of industry experts. So we're going to go ahead and deliver today.
Yep.
Right?
And I think what we want to talk about are marketing tips for 2 different ends of where your business may be. Maybe you're just starting. Maybe this is your second year and you're still doing less than $250,000. We have tips specifically to help you cross that threshold. On the second note, we have tips that are for the businesses that have been in operation for a few years. They're doing well over $250,000 in this season. And these tips will help you scale to the next level.
So let's get right after it. I can tell you, my very first tip, people reach out to me all the time and they say, hey, John, just start my holiday lighting business. I'm ready to run with Google. Let's get everything built and go. I don't do that. I pull the plug. I pump the brakes. I say, that's not the good place to start. The best place to start is some low cost, highly effective, just making some noise type of marketing. And my favorite, right off the bat, is yard signs and flyers, like door hangers, right? Because if you're new in business, you've got things to worry about from your branding to your vehicles and your insurances and finding the right help and training. Like there's a lot to unpack, right? So it's safe to say, it's so easy to say, you know what, let's just fire up Google ads, Facebook ads, and get your phone ringing. We'll fold you fast, right? Your knees will buckle with the amount of business that will come in. So for us, we say, you know what, work on all these systems. If you're under $250 a year, but like make some noise with low cost marketing such as yard signs and door hangers.
Yeah, and of course, complement it with a website. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but a website specifically for the holiday lighting installation for whatever business or brand that you created. Also having your Google business profile, your Facebook page, the free social media networks. You can make noise just like you do with door hangers, flyers, and yard signs. Make noise on the digital end because people are searching for these services. And you would just want to be found and make sure you start developing a good reputation in your local area.
And if you're a newer holiday light business, I think the best way to make noise digitally is not paying to play, is quite frankly getting after a really good website like John mentioned and having building up your Google review process. So say you serve 50 clients, right? At an average ticket or 1,000 to 2,000, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but you've earned that customer's business and trust. Why not go a little further and get that review, get them as a raving fan? That's going to go a lot further than just spending on Google to generate business.
Yep. So new business starting out, you're less than 250, get the foundational elements down and get them done right, right? So that way you can be ready to take on that huge influx of leads and huge influx of business to scale way above that $250,000 threshold.
Yeah. And I can definitely say, one of the things that you should put a focus on if you're a newer business is making sure that you're building out your content, right? You're putting a focus on capturing all types of media, from pictures to videos, right? And the best part is if you put a focus on obviously doing a great job for Mrs. Jones, you're starting to get all your systems and processes built out, start to document it, right? Like start to leverage photo and video for training purposes. You can start to, once you have that kind of built into your arsenal, next year when you hire, like you're gonna have a lot of these things. You have better things to do than go out there and train a new employee on how to hang lights. Use your first season to start to come out of the trenches so you can really scale when you're in year 2.
Yep. So are we ready to talk about more advanced marketing tactics?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Let's go.
What's the first one you got in mind?
The first one I got, when you come out of the woodwork and you're out of your first year, the first thing you wanna do is start to figure out how to like network like a monster. Be a networking machine. So start to understand the importance of rubbing elbows with industry titans, people who can lift you up. They say like you can see 10 times further when you stand on the backs of giants, right? Don't just blaze the trail, but rub elbows, right? And I'll name drop a couple people that I can personally vouch for that are good friends of mine that are some really good starting points. That's Ryan Fox, that's JC Chanowski, and that's Matt Hayden. These guys are incredible people, incredible human beings, and they are just monsters in this space.
Oh, they're a wealth of knowledge. Industry titans, as we call them.
Yeah, I can't forget my boy Brett either, Ryan's partner. I'm telling you, I don't know anybody in the game that knows production quite like him. We were going, when I was at the Clippa training, dude, and I was blessed to be the keynote speaker at the Clippa event in Las Vegas. And I can tell you, one of the coolest things I ever got to see, those people kept wanting holiday lighting, not just tips and sales tips, but specifically commercial tips. Brett's like firing off like crazy.
That's amazing.
Can't leave that boy in the dust.
That's right.
You know?
Yep. So utilizing those contacts, that networking to improve your business on the coaching side, right? That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
There's trainings throughout the years. There's masterminds. There's groups that you can get plugged into to really elevate your knowledge and skill set and grow your business.
Yeah, it's like whether you're jumping in a coaching program like Beyond the Bulbs, or you're reaching out to people just for different advice. Like, these guys lead with a servant's heart. That's who they are. Reach out to them. They're going to do what they can to lift you up, because a rising tide raises all ships. They're certainly not going to look away. If they can serve you, the industry grows, the professionalism grows, which ultimately means you can grab more money, you can build more value in the industry and start commanding higher prices.
Absolutely. And of course, the commercial side of things as well.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yep.
So when you come out of your $250,000, $300,000, give or take, and it's time to start growing, we'll get to digital. I know you're probably chomping at the bit, right?
Can't wait, sweating.
So I can tell you, once you talk about going after like digital stuff, it's its own game plan. But make sure when you're coming out and you're networking like crazy, you're starting to talk about coaching programs and getting into the right circle, if you will. They say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. You hang around with 5 people that are broke, you'll be the 6th. You're with the 5 people who are killing it in the Christmas game, you'll be the 6th, right? So don't discount coaching in this space. But my next tip is start to get your commercial game on point. Because when your commercial game's on point, you don't have to go run the rat race of constantly trying to find new blood all the time. These commercial tickets are high dollar tickets, man.
Absolutely.
And the thing that a lot of people don't realize in this space is HOAs budget out for lights. You can go in there and just plug and play, build relationships, and you'll eventually get exactly what you're looking for. I learned a long time ago in marketing that you could be the hunter or the farmer. And when you are the hunter, you're always looking for new blood. I mean, you're turning the corner, right? You're just trying to find new customers to find. But when you're planting seeds left and right, before you know it, you water them, you till them, they start to sprout, and those are those commercial clients.
Yep.
Right?
And that's the way to get well above the $250,000 threshold.
Oh, yeah. And that'll lead you to your very next objective you should be achieving, and that's putting in a full-time salesperson.
Is it 1 for most businesses? Is it 2?
I personally, you know me, man, the more the merrier, you know. Start to put a salesperson in place, at least for your first year, right? You start to drive it up, and you have multiple salespeople, multiple vehicles as you grow. But this game is doing things in a measurable fashion. The reason I like to kind of go a little faster than most is the season's short, man.
You got to capitalize on that time.
You got to collapse time, and you need to get after it as fast as you can, and you can build the plane on the way down, if you will. So for me, my very next tip is putting a salesperson in place. I don't think we talked about the importance of software. Do you believe that software should be integrated at less than $250,000?
I think a CRM, something to organize your leads, your database, is important. I don't think a software in terms of automations or even a sales process is going to be beneficial at that early stage.
Because of what? Because everything goes so fast?
It's so fast, the complexity, unless you really get the help that you need to set it up, which I know some software does. Responsibit has a great feature to help set you up with the workflows and the system that you need within that software. So I would definitely suggest that. But if you're trying to start from scratch and build something from scratch, I would advise waiting until you get a little bit more advanced in the industry. That is going to collapse so much of your time.
Yeah. And if you are interested in that stuff, like John said, make sure that you're plugging into the people that can help you kind of roll out a built-for-you system. And a lot of these providers will offer that because they want to earn your business. But certainly don't sit back. And we did this in one of our businesses, our garage business. We spent a lot of time like building visualizers. I can't even say the word. Visualizers. Let's say it again.
Yeah, digital visualizations.
Yeah,
It's
even better.
A mouthful.
So we would do that, and before you know it, I'm spending days and nights trying to figure out the perfect system. I can't even function the next day because my brain capacity is so low, and my battery's not full. Take it from us. Collapse time. Hire experts to help you integrate it if you are, and if you are north of 250, make sure that you are optimizing your software process, because at this stage in the game, you should have a steady flow of business. You should have some processes built out. Your guys should be trained. You should start really thinking about integrating something like Responsibit at a high level, or Jolly Lights, or Tinsel CRM, and you're basically doing things to help level up what you were doing in QuickBooks and kind of elementary stuff.
Yep. Because at this stage in the game where your business is at, you have a book of business from previous years, where you can get those early bird discounts, early bird specials, so that you're not spinning your wheels come October, November trying to get all the earlier clients done. Mm-hmm. You can utilize the months of August, even parts of July, to get some of the business going and at least incentivize some of the previous customers to jump on early.
Right. So that leads me to my next tip, was making sure that your SMS, your email, your ringless voicemail, that stuff is dialed in, because you can leverage it. You nurture your database when you're in the second bracket of 250 plus, right? Nurture your database. And like John mentioned, if you're looking to figure out like how to fill capacity at a really high level, make sure that you're nurturing that database, giving them a killer offer, such as an early bird special or kickoff season discount, where those customers are down for it. Like, they don't want to be part of like the last minute put up tactics, right? They'd like to get set up in August, early September, right? That's a huge takeaway.
Absolutely. So now branding is an important component of this elevated system.
So if you're in your first year and you're trying to figure out how to build an incredible business, do things measurably. Like get your introductory logo built out. Again, unless you have a huge investment coming in and you're able to kind of do everything at once, you're planned, and a lot of people are like that. But if you're not, it's like, get things moving, right? Imperfect action. Have a decent logo when you're south of 250. But when you're starting to talk about building close to a 7-figure business, you need to operate in that 7-figure sphere, right? So think like of an HVAC owner, a 9-figure HVAC owner. Think big. The right uniforms, the right business cards, the right flyers, the wraps on the trucks. Everything needs to reflect a world-class brand. There's a lot of people we could recommend, right? From KickCharge to Prolific, and there's a few other people in between. But like, the reality is that brand will help you command higher tickets, right? Perception is reality.
Yep. So at this point, you have the capacity to take on more business. Now I think it's time we talk about the digital marketing. When it comes to the digital marketing in the holiday light installation business, there's really 2 platforms that lead the way. You have the Google ads and you have Facebook ads, or Meta ads that include Instagram as well. Now, the difference between the 2 platforms, like most know, one is push marketing versus pull marketing. When Mrs. Jones, your customer, is going on Google to search for your services, your ad will show up at the very top, and that's pull marketing.
That's dangerous marketing too, because Mrs. Jones is looking for your service, right? And your solution is right there. It's like, dude, all you need to do is have the right site, the right text in the ad, and the right sales strategy built on your website. Dude, then you just close it like crazy.
So that customer, that prospect, is a little bit more qualified because they already are well aware of your services. If you have good branding, they're probably well aware of your company, and you have the best shot at having the highest ticket price for one of those type of customers. On the Facebook, Meta advertising / Instagram, you have push marketing. You're pushing out your ad to what we determine as relevant data points based on demographic and many other scenarios, but pushing out your ad to someone that may not be aware of your services, they may not be aware of your company, but you're trying to intrigue their interest by educating them or taking them through a process of either submitting their information to learn more or going through some qualifying form to make sure that your avatar is right on point.
So people are understand the difference between push and pull is super beneficial, right? But let me ask, if somebody's trying to put build brick on top of brick, if you will, Is there a right or a wrong way? Should people lead with Facebook ads or Google ads, or like which do you recommend, all things considered?
It really depends on the unique position of your business and your market. I think Google ads and Facebook ads are the best when they complement each other.
Yeah. And it's a way to completely blow it out of the water. You want to dominate your market, you want to open up the faucet and have the leads pouring like crazy, you do them both, right? Because it's hitting your avatar from two different areas. And we like to come at them from all ways. So for us, it's definitely advised doing both. If your budget's a little slower, say you're coming out of 300, 400, and you want to do one, truthfully, I think you need to understand where your brand is at and where your media is at and what your sales process looks like. There's a lot of ways to answer which one to do first, for sure. But nevertheless, make sure you're turning on some sort of paid ads when you're ready to start really turning up the heat.
Yep. And I guess first and foremost, you want to make sure your sales process is on point, because you turn on any one platform, let alone both platforms together, that lead flow is just going to overwhelm your business if you're not set up to handle it.
That's the truth. And one of the cool things is when you start to get your digital on point, you can immediately couple it with some sort of print mail, right? Like you land a job through digital and you serve Mrs. Jones. Before you know it, whether it's Send Gym or it's Dope Marketing, you can get in there and start attacking the houses right next to it. Like so-and-so, like we served your neighbor at this house, and here's how the project looked, and we'd love to earn your business as well, right? Yep. That all talks to your brand, right? Before you know it, you're just making more money in the neighborhood.
Amazing marketing strategy right there.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it, man. So after you do Facebook and Google, obviously for us, we know because we see a lot of it behind the scenes of the heavy hitters, the guys who are doing north of 7 figures. The next one is obviously SEO. Yep. Talk about the benefits of SEO for holiday lighting companies.
So once a business has been established in their market, they've built their brand to a certain extent, that's where SEO will benefit them tremendously. Because at the end of the day, after a year or so of doing SEO, you won't have to spend as much on Google and Facebook with paid ads. Mm-hmm. You can turn down that budget and you'll see organic leads start funneling through because you've had a good brand, and our SEO services gets your website at the very top throughout your service area.
You see how everything ties together, guys? When you have a really powerful brand, that brand equity, so to speak, you can now start to graduate and elevate into SEO, where, like John mentioned, in year 2 and 3, you start to dial back a little bit on your ad spend, right? You don't have to give Google so much because you earn that real estate on page 1. So somebody, for example, is ranking for Holiday Lights Installation Miami, you don't have to go pay for that keyword.
Yep, and what we've seen time and time again over the last several years, the largest commercial jobs are coming from where?
Yeah, from SEO. What, you set me up for that?
I just volleyed it your way, hoping you'd spike it down.
I'm telling you. So it didn't even, it was, and that goes for all home service verticals, man. The data behind a heavy hitter, they know, right? Somebody who has a really healthy budget. One of our buddies had just landed a $300,000 commercial business, commercial job.
In August. First part of August.
Land from page 1 of Google, from the organic rankings. And one of the things that the potential, or that the client said was, we saw you over the last couple of years, right? We had different contracts in place, but this is your game. Yep. You have more reviews. You're showing up on page 1 for everything. You're obviously somebody who takes their business serious.
Yep. And you're establishing that trust with the prospect at such an early point in time.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. So, and make sure, guys, as you're going through this process, the name of the game is ABC. From whether you're doing $500 in revenue or $500,000 in revenue and you're just continuing to grow, ABC. Always be creating. Take every single moment to grab content. So content with whether you're doing your training videos, you're doing your culture pictures, you're doing anything where you're celebrating wins, like all those little moments. You're seeing the customer and you're shaking their hand. Grab this media that will help you leverage your scale of your business. And ultimately, it'll help you be able to just be so dominant in so many different ways.
So Johnny, did you just give our audience the actionable tip?
ABC.
With ABC, always be creating?
ABC, baby, that's a name of the game. So there's a lot of actionable tips we can give, right? Yard signs, software, training, coaching. We plugged a lot of different really good resources. But our best advice, because it kind of translates from small to large, is making sure that you're creating content on every level.
Yeah, well, because the service that you provide is just so visual. It looks amazing. The homes that you do decorated with the lights and everything else looks amazing. So that content can just translate to more business by just being consistent with what you create on the media side.
And make sure everything you're doing delivers an incredible experience to Mrs. Jones. Everything. Because this is an emotional buy. You're selling high tickets. Like, you need to be able to appeal to the emotion to be able to convert people at a very high level. So as you do all of this, right, everything needs to have a really well-oiled brand that makes people feel emotional, and they turn into a customer for life.
Yep. And if I can add one more actionable tip, this is something that we've seen time and time again over the several years as well. The majority of our clients, they run another business primarily throughout the year and then either complement it or transition to holiday lighting for the final 3 to 4 months. Well, what we found time and time again is for those businesses that had a client database, marketing to that client database about the holiday lighting services that you provide certainly translates to more customers. However, the clients that you obtain strictly from holiday lighting translates even better to your primary business after the holiday season. So it's a huge takeaway that really makes sure that you're not just serving a customer one and done and not giving them a good experience, because when you deliver that great experience for the holiday lighting season, you have a high, very high chance of getting that client into your main business in the new year once that primary business becomes full throttle again.
Yeah, that cross marketing is definitely the name of the game in this business. And I'm telling you, there's something that we found out from some of our friends in this business that we've kind of discovered, which is exciting, and one of the reasons we might jump into this, right? Ultimately, you are building a world-class business with not a tremendous amount of competition right now, and it's getting busier. Now's your time to capitalize. Capitalize on the market. Right now is the time. So if you're sitting back and you're wondering if any of this applies to you or if you're ready for it, you'll never truly be ready for anything like this. You just gotta go. Take action. Stop looking off the cliff. If you believe in your heart and soul, now's the time to build that business. Jump, baby, jump.
What's the first thing that individual can do if they're ready to take action?
What's the first thing?
What's the first thing, the most important step they can take?
I mean, the first important step is to get the business out there, right?
I would take one step back. I'd say go through the training. Make sure that wanting to take action is one thing, making sure you're capable, of course, which I'm sure you are, but go through a training program. I know Clippa has a few trainings left throughout the year. It's important to make sure you capitalize on those trainings sooner than later, because just by going through and learning from some of the industry leading experts will put you light years above trying to figure it out on your own the first time around.
No doubt about it, man. It's good advice. So guys, you got a lot of actionable tips. You got a lot of good advice today. We can tell you, this is an incredible business. We see it firsthand from behind the scenes. We get to work with incredible business owners. And one thing I can tell you for sure is have fun while you're doing this, because this isn't you're not out there doing an aluminum siding business where it's kind of dreadful. Like, there's a lot of fun in this. So smile. And remember, guys, as you're going through this business, to enjoy the journey, because there's really not too many types of businesses that have this type of energy and this type of vibe. So enjoy it while you're going through it.
Love it. Love it, Johnny. Great advice. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. That'll wrap up this episode. So until next time, we out.